Hi, it's Mitch from Pick Dawgz. I got Steve Monahan and the Puck Dogs here with me today. Of course, Steve missed yesterday's show, and I didn't give out any football picks on the show yesterday, but I did have video picks and I did have premium picks, and Steve and I had both given out the Titans on our earlier show. I believe Steve had the 49ers. I had the Vikings in that one.
No, actually, I said the 49ers would win, but not cover, and San Francisco really took it to them, man. So
I don't know how much they took it to them. I thought the pass rush was exceptional for the 49ers.
it was.
I think we've talked about it a lot. Steve and I have all season long, because I get into the boring part of football because I don't play fantasy, right? So I'm not going to sit here and talk about wide receivers all day. But I think what it happened in the trenches. It was not Kirk Cousins' fault. There's no quarterback in the world who could have gotten a pass off there. I mean, if you had Vince Young or Lamar Jackson or someone like that, Michael Vick, he might have been able to sidestep a little bit of it, but not enough to get the ball downfield and not enough to get positive. I mean, the running game wasn't working. They were bottling up the running game. They had the pass rush. Basically, it was kind of a run blitz type defense is what it looked like to me. I don't know the X's and O's as well as some of the other guys out there, but it looked to be like one of those run blitzes where it was like they were blitzing if it was passing, and then they were kind of blitzing the run and like really attacking the ball carrier. So I think in that case I would have run the fake 23 blast with the backside Georgia reverse like my life depended on it. I think that was the type of thing, though, that it did call for. And I know I say that all the time, and I love it. But I think that those are the types of plays that you need in that game, like a flea flicker where they attack the running back, he flips it back, and maybe not to the quarterback, maybe to a wide receiver that can throw, Diggs or something. I'm sure he could chuck it down the field. I'm sure he can just absolutely throw a bomb. The guy's a tremendous athlete.
Everything clicked for San Francisco too. I mean, Garoppolo got some passes off that were like floaters, and it just happened to land in the wide receiver. That Kendricks linebacker on Minnesota is a real good player. A couple balls he could have intercepted if it was an inch here, an inch there. It was just San Francisco's day. They really, soup to nuts, really smothered the Vikings all day, man. So the winner of today comes to San Francisco next week, so we shall see, right?
Yeah,
49ers.
I think that the game plan by Shanahan on the opening drive kind of set the tone, and it kind of put the Vikings on their heels. The offensive game plan I'm talking about, not the defense, where everything was over the middle. Everything was a pass, and everything was over the middle. And it forced the Vikings to put that second safety out there. And they mentioned it on TV, and they talked about it a little bit. But really what happens there is that now all of a sudden you have a guy who's there to support the run, the run stopping, and he's moved back into pass defense. And it's like he's not even a real pass defender. So it's like it's still kind of open there anyway. And now you can run on him unless you have Ray Lewis or someone there who can just stop him by himself, and they don't have him. So I still thought that despite all of that, the Vikings were still in the game, and the special teams drop on the punt was the game. I thought that if the Vikings get the ball back there, if they score a touchdown, even a field goal, get anything positive going at that point, they're back in the game, even though they were down by 14 points. He drops the punt, they punch it, it's over. It was game over at that point. At that point, they're not coming. I think they kicked the field goal there. It was great if the defense stopped them, but it's like at that point, it was 3 scores and the game was over. You can't go down 3 scores on the road in the playoffs. It just doesn't work. You could be the home team and down 3 scores and rally. We've seen that, but it's rare that the road team comes back and does it. Anyways, I thought it was a good game. And I thought on the other side of it, Mike Vrabel, once again, great job. And, there was, the Titans secondary coach who doesn't get a lot of credit. I know who he is. His name's Kerry Combs, and he was a high school coach in Cincinnati, and his teams made it to the state championship every single year he kind of has made that progression. You've seen it from head coach of high school, like a dominating program, kind of like what if Jerry Faust would have gone this route, man. This is what would have happened here. Is he went from there to Ohio State. He worked with Vrabel right there at Ohio State as a coach. Now he goes to the NFL. I believe he went to the Bengals after that, and now he's a secondary coach of the Titans, and now the Titans are on the move, and now so you can see his next thing is probably a defensive coordinator, and that's how a high school coach becomes a head coach in the NFL. Doesn't happen overnight, but you could see with a guy like that we actually know the backstory. That you see the progression there. That Colerain. If you look up Colerain High School in Cincinnati, they've had they win all the time. So
having Kenny Vaccaro back there doesn't hurt.
I think so, but I think having him in the right place at the right time. That interception in the second half was game over. Right? It was game over. It was cool because I went out after I did the halftime show, and then I watched the Titans do the jump pass, and then I came back I went out and I walked Sam, and I had it on Sirius satellite radio. I have it on my phone, and I was listening to the game, and it was the Tennessee broadcast. So 4 lucky fans won $100 Kroger gift cards for those 4 touchdowns, and nice score there. And there's some nice smoked meat commercials on the local Tennessee broadcasts as well. So if you're interested in some smoked meat, you might want to grab your Sirius satellite radio next week and listen to the Titans broadcast of the game next week. The local broadcast. It's really a plethora of smoked meats out there. So I know no one enjoys smoked meat more than the Puck Dawgz. These guys. We saw Rod's Christmas photos. I think we know where the cow went.
Oh yeah.
So we got a small but good schedule. Yesterday was kind of fun, right? We had all those college basketball games. They were all good, right? I mean, there was tons of great games yesterday. There was like a lot of games that if you followed our picks or the premium picks, where we kind of nailed these things. I had St. Louis over Richmond, and they beat the crap out of them. They were 6.5-point dogs. They did not care. It was like they were insulted by that point spread.
One game I kind of keyed in on was Arkansas Ole Miss with the nice little comeback from Arkansas. I think they were about 13 points down at one point in the second half.
Arkansas as well as a premium pick, and a little foul game at the end of the game, 2.5 points, and it's like they're up by 2. It's like and then a little foul at the end, 7 seconds left. It's like they're up by 2, and they missed the shot to get the rebound. Foul, hit them, right? Hits them both, just in case they make it. Something, they foul again. It's like we're still okay. It's good.
How about Baylor making that big statement at Kansas, man? They
just absolutely clobbering the Jayhawks.
They did.
I love Baylor all season.
I know you do. I know. I think the secret's out on Baylor now, man.
They had their best player on that team left the team. It was one of those things where it was like he was their best player. It's kind of the same thing I felt about the Auburn defensive line this year. Just an embarrassment of riches, right? You just have so many good players, like you don't even know who to put on the field at the same time. And I think Baylor has the same issue on the court. But, we see guys get injured. We see, guys get suspended. Report cards will probably be out soon, right?
That's a problem.
Good for the program. Kenyon Rambo, 0.0. It's my favorite of all time.
Right.
Blutarsky'd his way through the semester.
It's no doubt.
Mr. Blutarsky, 0.0. Daniel Simpson Day hasn't been.
That's right.
Well, anyways, Fat, Drunk, and Stupid is no way to go through this show. Let's get into some picks. See what we got on the board for today. Yep, we did. We even hit our parlay on the show yesterday. I did an add-on pick in the premium yesterday. And it was dumb. I took Washington against Cal. And Cal's terrible this season. They won outright in overtime. Ridiculous. Let's get to see what we got going on. I gave out 2 hockey picks on the Spread Knowledge show. Let's see what we got today in the NHL. There's some good NBA out there today, too.
Heat next. In my
Vancouver versus the Wild, Rod. You wild about the Wild here? They are 11-4-2-2 at home this season. They're minus 155. We've got the world on the Wild, the line moving in that direction, the money in that direction, everything going that direction. But they're 4-5-0-1 in their last 10, while the Canucks 8-2. And we've talked about these logos before, these two teams. Just pathetic. I don't know what that. I mean, so Chris, we've decided finally that the Wild logo is a bear head. It looks like a mouse head, and it's like you really need to stare at it. It's like one of those pictures that is like this jumbled mess, and you gotta really focus in to try and figure out what it is. This could be. I mean, it's definitely nominated. It's definitely a bottom 10 logo in all of sports in Minnesota Wild. Because up until Chris said that, I thought it was kind of like a bee's nest or something, right? Like when the bees were swarming outside the nest, because that's what it looks like. I don't even understand it. And the Canucks, I mean, is it a killer whale? Is that what the thing is? Is that what we decided? It's a C. It's definitely a C. But it's
it's supposed to be like they're like the Aboriginal, like with the totem poles and stuff like that, like the sharks on it, or like a.
Is there a reason why Minnesota can't be the North Stars anymore? Is there like a reason for this?
Well, you still got Dallas, right? But
did someone else own that?
I think Dallas has the rights to the Stars, but
yeah, that's probably right.
How about this? They can do better than that. Okay, someone got paid to design this logo. I've been looking at this thing for a couple of years now. I just found out it was a bear head 2 days ago. I mean. And honestly, that sun in there makes it look like a mouse head. Anyways, what do you got here, Rod?
I'm gonna go with the mouse head team, and they're rested at home, and they play real well at home. Vancouver had to travel. They played like yesterday. Give me the Wild here. I like Wild on the puck line. I see like about a 5-2 game here.
How about you, Chris?
I'm gonna go the other way. I'm gonna take Vancouver at plus 135. Vancouver is just playing better hockey right now, and I'm not a fan of the goaltending situation in Minnesota right now without Dubnyk in net. He's missing time away for family reasons. And Alex Stalock isn't a guy I trust to be a number one, so I'll take Vancouver playing the better hockey at plus 135.
How about going from bad logos, and it's still a bad logo, the Flintstones logo here, to the worst name in sports, the Predators, up against the Jets, Jets. What do you think about this logo, team name, and game? What the hell does this logo for the Winnipeg Jets? I just finally saw this. It's an airplane on top of a maple leaf in a circle. I mean, who in the hell can see that? It's like, who is in charge of these NHL logos? The NHL, like, for everything that they do right, they got it so wrong with the logos. I mean, across the board. Someone should just go in there and be the logo, like, commissioner and just say, no, this doesn't work for us. It's like, I just noticed that there's a jet on top of it. It's like, I think the NHL logos, that when you start to get them small, very hard to decipher what they are. It's like, I mean, what the hell's wrong with the Leafs logo or the Penguins logo? Just stick to what works, right? I mean, those are nice. And the Sharks, beautiful, right? Chris, you on some Predators today, or the JTS?
No,
Jets,
I'm going to take a flyer on the Jets with at even money here. Winnipeg hasn't been the same dominant team at home. They've lost 5 straight at home, but Winnipeg's playing decent enough hockey right now, and I'm not trying to see the Predators as a road favorite here. So I'll take Winnipeg. They won 4 straight against Nashville, so I'll take the Jets at even money.
What was Winnipeg's old name? Didn't they used to have a different name?
They were still the Jets.
Still Winnipeg Jets.
Yep.
Just had a resurgence when they bought the team over from Atlanta. So
kind of like the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm on the Jets here today too. The Jets are 4-0 in the last 4 against Nashville. Give me the Jets here at home. And the Jets love Sunday games. For some reason, they just love playing on Sunday.
I'm not dancing. I'm doing the Jets. J-E-T-S.
Someone get Mitch some pom-poms.
Well,
I can't hear you. One more time. What'd you say? Jets.
Oh.
All right, let's go to some college hoops. We got Michigan up against Minnesota Gophers. I did a video on this one, but Steve, what's going on here in Minnesota? I'm gonna guess it's gonna be pretty chilly in Minnesota. We're gonna hear some squeaky ice there outside that stadium. But
yeah, I would think. I mean, it's a low point spread. I'll take Michigan on the road here at Minnesota.
Well, yesterday, Rod and I had a discussion about what Big Ten teams look like on the road, and I think he felt the fury of what even the Indiana Hoosiers can do to the Ohio State Buckeyes when they're the road team.
Yeah.
Rod, have you changed your opinion here on what road teams, the treatment of road teams in the Big Ten? Because this is a Michigan team that lost at Illinois.
I know, right? I got Minnesota here today. I think Minnesota needs to win more, and they're going to come out way more fired up and get the win. Give me Minnesota here.
I know the M is a traditional logo for Minnesota, but I think they should go more to the Gopher. They'll have some more logos. And I'm sure they do. Maybe I just don't.
They do. They got some Gopher logo stuff.
It's got to be better than that Columbus Blue Jackets logo. I still don't know what the hell that thing is. Anyways, Chris, what do you think of this one?
Yeah, I'm on Minnesota as well. The Barn's one of the harder places to play in the Big Ten, let alone even in the country. And it's like Rod said, they need the win. So I'll take Minnesota here.
Will PJ Fleck be in the stands? Prop bet here.
Well, if it's cold enough, the sweater will be on. So that's for damn sure.
The Fleck's there. We got Purdue against Michigan State. The Boilers +4 at home in this thing. Spartans are feeling it, man. This team was ranked #1 headed into the season. They were missing a couple top guys, but everyone knows I like Michigan State. And the reason why I like Michigan State, because they do the boring things well. And I think for me in sports, I'm old enough, and people will tell me this on YouTube that I'm old, and I am. But that I know that I'm past the wide receiver, I'm past the run and gun, I'm past all this stuff, and I've seen it enough times that I know that if in football, Steve and I talk about it, if you block and tackle well, and you're probably going to win. We saw it yesterday, in both games. And in basketball, if you rebound well and you pass well, and you hit your free throws, probably going to do pretty good, and that's what the Spartans do really well. It's not as an exciting game. You do see them hit, from the outside. They have Cassius Winston, but even he's not like a flashy player. He's just good,
He's consistent.
He's just consistent, and generally when the Spartans are really good, they have 2 guys at least that shoot 90% from the free throw line, and it's like this is Tom Izzo's game. That, and of course he works the refs before he ever gets out of the locker room.
Yeah. I love Michigan State here. No doubt. I'm taking Michigan State.
It's a tough Purdue team to put a finger on because they beat Virginia really good, and then they've had other losses that you're kind of like, what's going on here?
Yeah, but then Virginia loses to a Syracuse yesterday, so.
Well, I mean, a lot of teams are going to lose like this.
I understand.
Buddy Boeheim is not just a coach's son type guy. This guy's good. Rod, who do you like here?
I like the Sparties here. Give me the Sparty.
How about you, Chris?
Yeah, me too. Even though Purdue does play their best ball at home, but like you said, I can't go off of Michigan State here. I'll take Michigan State -4.
think the NHL didn't schedule the Bruins today because they thought that the Patriots would be playing? I think notice no Celtics, no Bruins today.
Huh? Coincidence? I think not.
I think not.
If you notice, the Bruins don't play a lot of Sunday games. Altogether, it doesn't even matter just because it's this time of year. They don't play
Sunday. A lot of games past April either, but that's a whole nother story. Anyways, yeah, I think Michigan State's kind of starting to do all the right things. I think the South Florida Memphis game to me is one of the more interesting games on the board. Memphis is just, they're a tough customer. Of course, Wiseman never made it. He played for a game or two. That's something more to the story, right? If he didn't even try and come back.
Oh, there's something more.
Steve is always in college sports the guilty till proven innocent, and where there's smoke, there's not just there's an inferno. It's like
there's an Australian fire going on in the background, no doubt.
South Florida, this game looks just like, I like Memphis, so I understand all those things, but it's just one of those games where it's like you look at it and you go to bet it, and it's like, I know I'm going to lose. It's like, I know I'm going to lose. I don't know how it's going to happen. It's going to be one of those games. It's like, just I have Memphis. I just know I'm going to lose. How about you, Steve?
I think I agree with you here. I think I'll take the Bulls of South Florida here.
It just seems like one of those spots, right? It's just, man.
Yeah, they're going to have a handful of losses throughout the season, and this kind of feels like one of those games, So I'll go with South Florida.
How about you, Chris?
Yeah, I don't think Memphis is going to lose 3 games in a row. I'll take Memphis on the road here, -4.
How about you, Rod?
Yeah, I like Memphis here too. They're definitely not losing 3 in a row. I like Memphis here.
Here's 2 teams that get it right in the logo department: the Red Wings and the Sabres. They got it right the first time. They just left well enough alone. This is the same Sabres, I remember when the Sabres, back in the 70s, they had a run where they were down 3-0 in a few playoff series and won them, a bunch of them in a row. They had the same logo. So it worked for them then. It's not perfect. You got a Buffalo. You got 2 Sabres. Buffalo, Sabres. Right?
Yeah, but the Sabres did try to alter that logo for a few years, and that was a disaster. Thank God they went back to the original, right?
Well, they had no choice.
Remember Concentration, the game Concentration, where it was like the pictures? They got this one, okay? It's a Buffalo. It's not a Sabre. It's 2 Sabres, okay? Buffalo, Sabres.
Well, they did. They did try to put the bull with big red eyes and shooting, flaring his nostrils.
They knew they were wrong. Just like the Dolphins. The Dolphins are going to come to terms with it, and they're going to go back to the old logo too. You watch, because people still hate the new logo. And when the Patriots switched to Elvis, remember they called it Elvis when they first swithed. I still think they got it wrong. I like the old logo too with the Patriots, but way better. And the colors.
Yeah.
And the colors. Way better.
Take that.
Way better. It's like that silver. It's like, that was the whole idea. If you're the Patriots, red, white, and blue is a pretty solid choice. It's kind of like, what do you have, with the peanut butter and jelly sandwich, Scoop of chocolate, scoop of vanilla. It's like, how freaking hard is this? It's like, it's like, my God, potato chips, right? Plain potato chips. It's like, this is not, grilled cheese, French fries. How freaking hard is this, man? Tomato soup, grilled cheese. It's like, maybe potato chips or French fries. One or the other is okay.
A pickle on the side.
No one's having onion rings there. It's like,
no.
Oh, mozzarella sticks. No, you won't. You can leave. No soup for you. It's like, this is this. Red Wings plus 120, Rod.
Give me the Red Wings. I like Detroit here today.
Motor City Wings. You see this? The wheel, Motor City, Red Wings. Chris?
Yeah, I'm on Detroit plus 122. This is usually the spot where Detroit capitalizes and they take advantage of teams in bad spots. Buffalo on the road on a back-to-back. I think Detroit wins another one here. Rare 3-game win streak for Detroit.
Got the Penguins up against the Coyotes. This is the Coyotes changed their logo, and they haven't even been around that long to be able to do something like that. But they did do it. It's not bad, you know.
This is better than what they did have.
Yeah, this is better.
Yeah.
This is an improvement. This is an improvement. It's cleaner, right? It's a cleaner logo.
Yeah.
And the Penguins, this is a team that's got it right? This is a cool little logo they got, right? It's like, so what do you think here, Arizona and Pittsburgh?
Yeah, for me, this is another day, another game where I'm going to take the Penguins. They keep winning hockey games no matter what the problem is going on, whether it's injuries or what have you. Arizona still isn't doing great with their goaltending. I'm not trusting them until Darcy Kemper's back in the crease, so I'll take Pittsburgh minus 130 here.
Rod?
Yeah, I'm on Pittsburgh as well. Arizona lost Kemper. Kemper's out. Ranta's hurt. It'll be Hill riding the pipe, and that's all you got. Maybe this fourth guy who's going to come up that they were talking about bringing up, but go ahead, put him in net. Pittsburgh's going to rock him. Give me Pittsburgh on the puck line, plus 225.
Jeopardy, greatest of all time, Ken Jennings, straight badass or what? I mean, oh my God. It's like, it's making,
that's my boy. Rooting for him the whole way, man.
It's like, Jeopardy James did a nice job, and he's kind of changed the game a little bit. He's an innovator, but Ken Jennings is like I said, it's like you don't want to get caught in a dark alley with a bunch of 20-letter words, and Ken Jennings could get up in there. And when he bet it all on the final Jeopardy of round one of the last, it was like 26,000 all in.
I saw that,
yeah. It was like, I'd say he's pretty good. I think, back when we were in college, Steve and I, there was a guy named Chuck Forrest, who was also a pretty damn good Jeopardy player. And I think if they wouldn't have had the 5-day rule back then, he probably would have been in the discussion here in all this stuff.
That's right. A lot of people forget about that. 5 and out, you're done.
Yeah, it used to be the 5-0. Ken Jennings was like on the first or second show that they didn't have the 5-game rule. If he was on a week earlier, he would not, it'd be a whole different story for him.
That's right.
Pretty crazy stuff. Anyways, so we got some game between the Packers and the Seahawks, or the Chiefs. Let's do the first one, Chiefs and Texans. To me, this is the Texans are going to have to figure out a way to run the football today. They have a few running backs back there. I don't think they have like a bruising back. Like we saw Derrick Henry, and I think even the Ravens backs. It's like, but I don't see it here on the Texans. A guy that is a workhorse back. And I think I know Steve's a big Carlos Hyde guy. To me, he's Edwin Jackson. But
again, I'm not saying Carlos Hyde is Jim Brown or Derrick Henry. I'm just saying Carlos Hyde is.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah, I am. But he's still been employed. What, he got drafted in 2000.
How about Don Nottingham? Is he a Don Nottingham?
The human bowling ball.
Just never going to be
quicker than Don Nottingham.
He's never going to be the threat that Norm Boulash was.
Hey, throwback names. Let me tell you something, man.
Hey, back in the day, Clarence Davis, Marv Hubbard. Those would be the guys we'd be seeing this week.
You're right. So it's kind of like running back committee with Houston. 10 points with Kansas City.
They got no Mercury Morrison. They got no Jim Kick.
No, they do not, and they don't got 39 Mr. Zonka either.
Or Kevin Mack and Biner.
Two
guys that went over 1,000. Rocky and Franco.
Rocky and Frenchie Fuqua and Franco. Well, absolutely. Yep. There's been some tandems out there.
Yep. Lido Mitchell and Ron McCauley.
That's right. Was it Don McCauley or Ron McCauley?
Yeah, it was one of those two.
I think it was Don McCauley.
Could have been.
Yeah. It's 10-point spread with Kansas City. I think I've been all in on them all week, but it's still a lot of points, and I still see Kansas City winning here. But I don't know, man. I think it might be closer than I originally thought here. So I think I'm going to take the Texans and the points here. But Kansas City wins the game, no doubt. But it's 10 points is in a playoff game scares me, even though San Francisco covered. But
I think I think I'm a little worried that the NFL is in some trouble here, because when you look at the AFC representatives, and I think in the NFC, San Francisco's one of the largest TV markets, so it's like it's top 5. It's 3 or 4. It's in that range, like LA, New York, Chicago, San Francisco. It's those 4, the 4 big ones. Of course, Boston's like 6 or 7 too. That whole New England thing that they have going on there, but they're okay with San Francisco. With Seattle, they're dead men, and with the Packers are the Packers. So it's like they're like an America's team, kind of like the Steelers, where you're going to be good no matter what. In the AFC, they've lost all that, so they have nothing to work with here. So it's the Texans, who are just not a popular team. It's a pretty big TV market, but they're just not that type of team. We just had the Astros in the World Series. Now you also have Tennessee, which is death, right? I'm sure that as much as that Tennessee-Baltimore game was fun for everyone to watch. I'm sure it wasn't one of the higher rated playoff games of all time. And, so you got Tennessee, and then you got the Chiefs, which is Kansas City. But you have the Peyton Manning factor like you had in Indianapolis, where you have Mahomes as a guy that kind of, you could sell this.
Yeah, of course.
So here's, and then you got the Andy Reid angle. He's never won a Super Bowl, right? So it's like, how bad do they want it? I guess we're going to find out today. And that scares me, because the Texans getting screwed on a call here and there is kind of like the Saints getting screwed on the call in the playoffs last year. Well, number 37 TV market. Well, we can live with it. It's like, we'll just do it. LA's number 2 TV market. Ratings are down. We've got, the number 37 TV market. The call comes in. I think, which are we going to get? Which is going to be worse? TV ratings with the number 37 TV market against the team that's in the Super Bowl every single year, or, the number 2 TV market against, where we're trying to build something, because we've failed here before a couple times, a bunch of times. So I'm not saying that this stuff happens in the NFL. I'm certainly not saying that the games are fixed, that the refs make calls based on TV markets or money or anything like that. But I'm saying sometimes the weird calls go in the direction of the teams with the higher TV ratings and the bigger TV markets. I mean, look at the calls that go down at Lambeau. I mean, oh man.
Yeah, you're right.
Look at, they're 13-3, but take away a couple bad penalties. What are they?
They're not hosting a playoff game.
They're not hosting a playoff game. They're at Seattle, or they're at, in this one.
Huh?
So, Chris, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm on Houston plus 10 here. Kansas City's a great team, deserving of the number 2 seed, but down the stretch, they played the Chargers twice, they played Oakland, they played Denver, and they played a New England team that definitely slowed down on offense from what they were at the beginning of the season.
You can't discount divisional games like that. You just can't.
No, I know, but I'm just saying it wasn't murderer's row offensively. So I think Houston can definitely force the issue. They have a great defense. I just think it's going to be closer than 10 points. I don't think Kansas City runs away with this game. So I'll take Houston plus the 10. I see it being a touchdown game.
Yeah, me too.
How about you, Rod?
Give me the Chiefs. Like yesterday, the first game of the day, the favorite covers. Give me the Chiefs here. All right, Chiefs cover that number.
This could be the go to the grocery store and stock up for the week game. I really think so. But I'll be on at halftime of the game, but I'm not expecting much, in this one. I'm just not. I just don't see it. I don't see how the Texans fire back here. I know they have a good defense. They don't have the running game. They've got Hopkins, but Patrick Mahomes was injured earlier this season, and I think that a lot of that's been discounted in what Chris thinks that, it's easy to play in the NFL with a broken ankle or something. But it's not.
He's been slowly getting better and better.
He's been slowly getting better and better. If there was a team that needed a week off, it was the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm a small guy, so I know, I get banged around. It's freaking hurts, I played high school football. I used to get crushed, man. People would always want to take a pot shot. It was like, oh, we're losing? No, let's freaking hit the little guy a couple times, So at least we feel better about it, I might have woofed some shit in the process too, but it's like, you gotta keep your mouthpiece in. That's the coach used to tell me. Like, you see the mouthpiece goes in the mouth.
How hard is it to keep your mouthpiece in?
Keep your mouthpiece in and your teeth clenched around it. Anyways, yeah, I think the Chiefs, those little guys, it's always good to get them some rest. I think that they've had some, you get those bumps and bruises. Tyreek Hill. I think also we saw yesterday in the Ravens game too, that when you have kind of that flashy offense like that, and guys that, it's all about syncing, that not playing for a couple weeks can really take a lot out of you. And I think the Ravens sitting those guys against the Steelers, I've never been a huge fan of it. But, it is what it is. It's like guys are paid a weekly paycheck to play the game, regardless. So, he could get hurt, It's like, if you play like you can get hurt,
you're going to get hurt.
Get hurt in practice, for Christ's sake.
It's legal. I mean, you can get hurt. I was taking my golf clubs out of the car. I had my sunglasses on top of my head. I hit my head against the top of the car, and the glasses, like the little prong, dug into my head, and I'm bleeding out of I mean, who the hell knows, Whatever. It's I don't know. I just think the Chiefs are the better team here. I think the NFL wants them. I think it's all those things combined. So it could make for a higher scoring day than what the Texans are going to be comfortable with. I don't know. Bill O'Brien's done a lot with little. Michael Jenkins saying that he would rather have Andy Reid. Giving Andy Reid's, believe me, he's been around a long time. He's been in a lot of games where he's had a lot of time to prepare, and he hasn't always done a lot with that. And he's always had this Smurf-style offense too.
That's right.
Brian Westbrook, not a big guy.
Darren Sproles, etc.
Sproles is his guy. So these are his things. Let's take a quick look at this Pittsburgh versus Miami college basketball matchup. The Canes were 2.5 point favorites. Now they're 3.5. I liked them at 2.5. I don't like them at 3.5. I'm going to switch my pick and go with Pittsburgh plus the 3.5.
Yep.
I like the Canes this year, and they're 9-5. But when you look at the 5, not a slouch in the bunch. And I think that's one thing that a lot of people don't consider when they look at college basketball teams and their records, because they don't all play, and it's not all things are created equal. And we saw this with the New England Patriots, right? The first half of the season, they played all those lousy teams, and then when they started playing good teams, they lose at home to the Titans in the playoffs in a game that they were handled, right? Just throw that in there, but the Canes have lost to all good teams. Every team they've lost. They lost to Louisville twice. They lost to Duke. They lost to Connecticut on the road, and they lost to Florida. All teams that are either in, I'd say Connecticut might be on the fence. If they can get the win over Wichita State today, they're probably in the tournament, for sure. And then, the 2 lost, Louisville's in, Duke's in, Florida's in. So, no shame there. Pitt, this team, they beat Florida State, earlier this season. They lost to Nichols. I think Pitt has a chance to win this game, but I don't know. Jim Larinaga, he seems to dial it up when he needs to.
Yeah.
Canes have never been a great cover team, though. I'm switching. I'm going to take Pitt. Steve?
Nah, I'll take 3 points and the Canes. To your point, the losses have been to quality opponents, and I just think +3 here is fine. I like the Canes.
Canes are -3.
I mean -3. My bad.
Rod?
But I like the Canes. Yeah.
You going with the Penguins Pitt double here?
Pitt double?
Mm.
You can probably do that, I think. Give it a shot. What the hell?
I could do a Pitt parlay.
Yeah, Pitt parlay.
Makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go with Pitt here as well. Just like how North Carolina hasn't been playing great, but I did like how Pitt played against the Tar Heels, and I think they can go on the road and hang with Miami, if not win this one outright. So I'll take Pitt as well.
Panthers versus Leafs. Panthers are a team that changed their logo a few years ago. I don't like the new logo. I don't like shields. I don't think the shield is the way to go. But the Panthers went to a shield logo. It's kind of, the shield logo is a cop out. It's like, oh, how about a shield with the Panthers on it? We'll write the word Florida across the top. Up against the Leafs. Panthers +103 here. This game is pretty much a pick 'em. Both these teams playing about the same recently. It looks like a coin flip. Chris?
Yeah, it's still going to be a bit of a homer pick. I'm going to side with Toronto here. They've won 5 straight on the road, and Florida is a tough spot to not get distracted. We've talked about it before, like these West Coast trips, these trips down to the Keys, but I think Sheldon Keefe's going to have his guys focused and ready for this game. I think Toronto wins another one on the road, so I'll lay the -114 with Toronto here.
Yeah, that's a good price on Toronto. Give me the Leafs. I also like the over in this game. Over 6. Probably better than picking a side. I like the over better than a side.
Software took
Florida. Well, that's what the value is. I think the software
loved the over.
Yeah, I love the over because I see this as a 4-3, 5-4. I think it's a 1-goal game, that's for sure, but I think we're going to get some goals here.
It's a 1-goal game. All right.
Which I think the software did have the +1.5 as another one, but the value in that was huge. But that's why it was a B+ pick, because it's going to be a 1-goal game. No blowouts here.
Okay, let's get to the last of the hockey for today. We'll go to the Devils against the Lightning. Another -200 line here on the Lightning on the road. I'm on the Devils. I don't even care. I'm not even going to look at anything or listen to a word you guys have to say. What do you guys have to say?
Well, I'm definitely not picking Jersey. Tampa, Jersey has the old Tampa goalie in there, Domingo, and he's not very good. That's why he got out of there. I think Tampa posted a shutout today. How's that? Let's put it that way. I don't think Jersey gets a goal. No goals for Jersey today. Give me Tampa on the puck line. +125.
Yeah, I'm going to go the other way. I never thought I'd say it. I'll take New Jersey. It just seems like a decent letdown spot for Tampa after a narrow, hard-fought 1-0 win against Philly yesterday. And it's like you said, Dominguez starting for New Jersey. What better way to get back at your former team than to snap a 10-game winning streak? And, I mean, New Jersey's got to be playing with a little bit of confidence after beating Washington yesterday, handily. So I'll take New Jersey at +179.
I got the Nuggets up against the Clippers. This is a pretty good one. Got 2 good teams. The Clippers, not an elite team. They made that crystal clear. They said that. And the other night, they almost lost to the Warriors, ended up winning by 9 points in that game. They did not cover the spread.
Yeah.
But certainly not playing like an elite team. But the Nuggets, this is a team that when they play up against the really good teams, they have not held up. And that is the problem. It's which Clippers team shows up in this game is really going to dictate how this goes. The Clippers seem to play good against the good teams, bad against the bad teams, kind of play down to the level of the competition. kind of like Northwestern in college football, right? It's like they play against Ohio State. It's like tooth and nail Wisconsin, right? It's like play up against,
your boy Tom Allen in Indiana, and
yeah, it's like it's a knockdown drag out. Tom Allen. It's like brutal coaching.
It's been a couple weeks since you mentioned Tom Allen. I thought I'd throw him in.
You stink. I like the Clippers in this one.
I'm going Clippers too. They're very inconsistent, man, as far as the covering and everything, especially the last couple weeks. But to your point, I think they handle the Nuggets here.
Chris, anything?
Yeah, I'm on the Clippers as well. I don't think this is a load management spot, so I'll take the Clippers.
Are you sure?
I'm never sure. But I'll take the Clippers +1 here.
Load management.
Give me Denver.
There's something wrong with the whole phrase.
Give me Denver. It feels like a Sunday load management day.
Yeah.
What a load of garbage. You get paid millions. Get your ass in the game. Seriously.
I think that salaries that if there's load management, they shouldn't get paid for that game. What do you got?
Well, exactly. Fans want to see you play in the thing. You go to play somewhere and you're not playing because it's a load management day. Do I get a refund on my ticket? I'm going Denver. Denver's gonna. Feels like a load management day in
All right.
Denver.
Could be. Usually it's a back-to-back.
Usually.
Is when the load management happens. But it is usually on the road, too.
Yeah.
How about the Hawks and the Nets? I hate the Nets, man. It's like I was doing so well with them earlier this season. Now Kyrie is supposed to be back. So the line's gone from 6 to 7.5. And no one destroys team chemistry like Kyrie Irving. Okay. He was great with LeBron because, LeBron finally had someone that he can make an excuse as to who to pass it to because LeBron doesn't like to take the big shot. And, we could say everything about LeBron and, we could badmouth his style of play and how he hates to take the big shot. Well, Michael Jordan, you'd have to pry it out of his dead hands, to take it. And only once did Michael Jordan not take the big shot. He passed it to Kerr, who hit the shot. But Kyrie Irving is a modern-day Reggie Theus. He just is a ball hawk. And I think that's why him and LeBron didn't get along. And I think we're starting to see it with when he plays with other people, that this is a trend now. We saw it in Boston. They were better when he wasn't there. And the Nets, well, they're gonna be better when he's not there too. I hate the Hawks, right? I mean, if you've ever seen any of my YouTube videos, everyone knows I hate the Atlanta Hawks because they refuse to play defense. It's like, it's like the college guys that are, you see these college players that they're limping on defense, but on offense they're fine. It's like, and that's the Hawks, microcosm. But I think I don't like Kyrie Irving more than I don't like the Hawks defense. I'm going to take the Hawks here plus the 7.5.
I'm going to take the Nets. The Hawks, to your point, just don't play defense. Trae Young can score, 30 points if he wants. I think the Nets are going to slowly start turning it around. They've been, obviously not playing good ball. But I agree with your point on the team chemistry about Kyrie Irving, but I think he's a super talented guy. He's been on the sideline. I just see the Nets having a big day today and taking care of the Hawks. I'm going to take the points in the Nets.
Yeah, I'm going to lay the 7.5 with the Nets as well. Brooklyn's averaged 126 points against the Hawks in 2 games this season. And it's like we've all said that the Hawks don't play defense, so I'll take the Nets here.
I'm taking the Hawks.
Okay.
Give me the Hawks.
Yeah, I'm with Rod.
I'm with Chris.
Yeah. I see. I've thought about like pooling like our staff at Pick Dawgz, like doing consensus picks, and then putting money on each of those games and kind of having an account, and then at the end of the year, paying it all out to everybody. See, but it's picks like Chris's right there as to why we don't do it. It's like I'll bet against Kyrie Irving getting 7.5 points with just about anybody.
Okay.
Guys just doesn't understand, some of the fundamentals of the game. Tremendous player, tremendous athlete, all those things. But it's like, I think if you had like Kyrie Irving, Russell Westbrook, put these guys all on the same team, it would just be like, imagine what the locker room would look like on something like that, like after a 40-point loss.
Yeah.
We had fun on one team.
I liked Russell Westbrook though. I thought that game in OKC the other night was one of the highlights of the season so far. His introduction and everything, and the way he was received in Oklahoma City, and also that he poured in 34 was pretty impressive too. We'll do one more NBA. We'll do the Jazz and the Wizards. I can't figure out the Wizards for the life of me, man. It's like, if I say that they're my Timberwolves of this year. Like, the Minnesota Timberwolves have been that team for me for such a long time, and now we kind of at least we got the Timberwolves. But now it's the Wizards. I say other team, Wizards play their game of their year. I say Wizards, they play like the Wizards. I just can't figure these guys out. The Jazz are on the other side of the spectrum for me. I've been pretty good with Jazz games this year because earlier in the season, I like the Jazz because they play, Mitch style, right? Defense first. It's like they try and just keep the other team to a lower point score than what they score, and that doesn't mean winning by 10 points. 104 to 100, right, is a typical Jazz score. So they started lowering the point spreads, and the Jazz started covering a lot more games because they were so bad against the spread. But now they've lowered the spreads, and now they're 9-1 against the number. But here we are. They're laying 9 on the road at Washington again. They're back into that bad range, with the 9-1 run. I've been taking the Jazz a bunch, and I might have even taken them in the video, but I think it's a kind of a lean here to Washington.
Yeah. Hey, all good points. I think 9's too much. I'm going to take the Wizards. It pains me to do it. I see the Jazz winning the game, but I don't see them covering.
Yeah, I'm on Washington as well, plus the 9. They're still finding ways to win games, like here and there. They won 3 of the last 4, so I'll take a shot with Washington to keep the game close.
Give me the Jazz. I'll take the Jazz here. I hate Washington.
Last game of the show, and then we'll do quick recaps. The recap's going to have to be quick today because we're running overtime. Green Bay against Seattle. The line's now at 4.5 for the Packers, with actually inverse line movement here. Traditionally, though, we've seen big bets on Packers postseason games. I've told this story before where I was in Vegas where the guy in front of me put $1 million on the Packers in the Super Bowl against the Steelers at MGM. It's like I'd never seen $1 million in cash. I'd seen $1 million in cash at the Horseshoe, downtown, but I'd never seen anyone carry it in the bag like that. Anyways, there was definitely a couple of security guys around. But,
oh yeah.
It's a big ticket. I don't know, Steve. Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson's not had a lot of luck at Lambeau. Aaron Rodgers, not a lot of luck against the Seahawks, really. So it's kind of interesting matchup here. We've seen the good and bad and ugly of both teams, but when we've seen the bad and the ugly from the Packers this season, we've seen the uglier of the calls. The worse the Packers play, the worse the calls seem to get. They went out and got Jimmy Graham to help Aaron Rodgers. He hardly looks like the same guy that was on the Saints. He's kind of there, but we know he has that inside of him. But something tells me that if they're going to be there this game, that this is the game that he's going to need to really be the old Jimmy Graham, and he's going to need to make some of those crazy catches that we've seen in the past. And he played basketball in college. It's one of those things. He played tight end in college, so. Man, I don't know. This is a tough one. Kind of like the under here is where I land, but I still think this one comes down to special teams.
Yeah, I think Seattle's played so many close games this year, and for the most part, prevail. I like that San Francisco won, and this could be the rubber match. I'm not saying that's the be-all, end-all, but Seattle has a little more motivation to get back to play San Francisco. You got Russell Wilson versus Rodgers. I still think Marshawn Lynch could be somewhat of a factor here for the run. A little bit, down low. If they're first and goal within the 5, he's still a powerful guy. Special teams. The fact that Green Bay's favored, I'm going to take Seattle on the road. Green Bay may win by a field goal or whatever, but I'm going to take the Seattle Seahawks here.
Last year, these two teams met in November, and Green Bay had 48 rushing yards in that game. But it was last year, different coach, different team.
Yeah.
Chris, who are you thinking?
Yeah, I'm on Seattle as well. I think it's going to be a hard-hitting game, and I think it's going to be decided by a field goal. I think I see it being somewhere in the area, 24-21, 27-24, something like that.
What's your over/under on Brett Favre mentions?
I'll
go with 4.
I was going to say 3. I was going to say 3.5.
Ooh, I go with the over on that at least.
Rod.
Yeah, I think you got to go Seattle here with. Forget it. Give me Green Bay. I think Green Bay wins 27-20.
I thought you were gonna say I love the over 4 on Favre mentions.
Oh, on Favre mentions? Yeah, that's way over. Give me over on that one for sure.
Talk about a prop bet.
Yeah.
So of all the announcers, like of the final 4 games, and we'll cut it after this, but the final 4 games, who's the worst? We've seen some bad announcing here, throughout the playoffs. But who is the worst announcer? And for me, it's Joe Buck, and it's like there really is no other side to this. I don't even know. Booger McFarland is just below him because Booger McFarland he kind of gets he's either super fluff or way too X's and O's, right? Way too X's and O's. It's like, what are you talking about? What are you even talking about? And then it's like there's a play with like a major penalty that really flips the game, and he just is talking about something that has nothing to do with the actual penalty call and doesn't even go back and look at it. So I think he's pretty bad. But Joe Buck is just offensive, and as a fan, as someone that's watched Howard Cosell and Keith Jackson and Kurt Gowdy and the greats, Dick Enberg, over the years. This Joe Buck's offensive, man. He is just terrible. I have to say that Troy Aikman seems just not even amused with this guy. He just seems irked, to have to sit with this guy throughout the show. And I have to say, on the opposite end of the spectrum, Tony Romo might be the best that there's ever. I think Tony Romo has a chance to be one of the all-time greats, and of the jock announcers, he might be the best there's ever been. And I think Tim Tebow could do that if they got him in there. That's just me.
Listen, Tony Romo really is impressed, for 2 years now. There's no question.
He knows the play.
He knows what's happening before it happens.
It's an amazing thing. Yeah. He spent a lot of time on the sidelines. Here's a guy. He spent a lot of time injured. He sees the setup and he's like, this is exactly what's going to happen here. He's like, and it's like, well, they're going to run this. He's like, this play has 0 chance of working. Like he looks at the offense and defense. He says, I know what they're going to run. It has 0 chance. It's like, it implodes like right in front of you. Chris?
I'll throw Pat Summerall out there as one of the best announcers too. Quiet and to the point with Matt.
I liked him with Brookshire. I know more famous with Madden, who was also very good. Underrated.
Brookshire. Right.
Brookshire was awesome, and I think Al Michaels is generally pretty good, and Collinsworth actually not bad. Not bad.
Yeah, no, for me, it's definitely Booger McFarland.
I think we're probably all in agreement on Booger.
He takes over. It's that ESPN gig is just a tough one. It's just a very tough one because you had Jason Witten last year, who was just, you don't have to go back and play with the Cowboys again, but you can't stay here. It's like, oh man. I think when you start stealing other people's catchphrases is when you gotta go.
Absolutely.
When he starts with the booms and the bams, and it's like, I'm sorry. It's the call into the headset. It's kind of like the guy on ESPN, and he said if it was in the hockey in that Islanders overtime game. I remember being in Boston watching that game with Steve. We were like at a bar, and then the bar closed, and it was so late that the game was still going and going and going. It's like, if they go to another overtime, I'll take my shirt off. And it's like they come back, he's got his shirt off, and it's like you could almost, they cut away from him. You could almost hear the phone ring saying, "Put the damn shirt back on." It's like I don't remember who it was, but I don't think he's with the network anymore. But let's go to Chris and wrap it up for us. Chris, give us the short version.
Got it. So for the ice, I like Winnipeg and even money against Nashville. Vancouver plus 140 against Minnesota. Detroit plus 120 against Buffalo. Pittsburgh minus 130 against Arizona. Toronto minus 114 against Florida. New Jersey plus 179 against Tampa Bay. For the NFL, I like the Texans plus 10 against Kansas City. Seattle plus 4 against Green Bay. College hoops, didn't touch on it, but I like Wichita State against UConn. I just like the way Wichita State's been playing. I also like Niagara plus 9 against Iona. I just think it's way too many points. Quinnipiac minus 2.5 against Monmouth. Two of the better teams in the MAC. I just like Quinnipiac at home. Utah plus 8.5 against Colorado. I just think getting too many points. Also, Michigan State minus 4 against Purdue. Minnesota minus 1.5 against Michigan. Memphis minus 4 against USF. And Pitt plus 3.5 against Miami. The NBA, like the Nets minus 7.5 against the Hawks. Clippers plus 1 against the Nuggets. And Washington plus 9 against Utah.
Rod?
Alrighty, for me, we go NHL. I'm leaning the Leafs. I like the Leafs to win the game, but I think the over 6 is the better bet on that game. Give me the Jets on the money line. Give me the Wild on the puck line. The Penguins on the puck line. Tampa on the puck line. Detroit on the money line. NHL. I have a 2-teamer today. Give me Tampa on the puck line. Pens on the puck line. Plus 531. College basketball, I like the Gophers minus 2. I like Michigan State minus 4.5. Give me Wichita. Give me Memphis. And give me Wright State. I like Wright State and riding them for a bit. NBA, I like Denver. Give me Denver minus 1.5. I definitely think it's load management day. Give me Atlanta plus 8 points there. Give me the Jazz. I think the Jazz can cover that number. NFL, give me the Chiefs. I think you can go Chiefs minus 16.5 plus 225. Give me Green Bay minus 4.
That Clippers game's dropped to a pick. It is not load management day. So
it's a pick now?
I got news for you on that one.
Yeah, it's definitely not a load management day.
It's dropped to a pick 'em. Steve?
Yeah, just real quick. I like the Michigan Wolverines at Minnesota. I'll take the points there. I love Michigan State. It's one of my favorites of the day. It's 4.5. I'll take the South Florida Bulls against the Memphis team. What else I got? College. That's pretty much it. I do like Chris's pick, though, Wichita State at UConn. I think Wichita State wins that handily. NBA. I'll take the Wizards and the 9 points against the Jazz. I'll take the Nets and Kyrie Irving coming back, the 7.5 against the Hawks. The Clippers, especially out of Pick'em, I'll take them against the Nuggets. And also NBA, one other game I like is the Heat are coming to the Knicks today. It's a 3:30 Eastern game. Heat are laying 8. The Knicks are in my backyard. I think the Heat crush them today. And in the NFL, I'm going to take Houston in the points. I still think Kansas City wins, but I think it'll be a little bit closer than we anticipate. And I'm going to take the Seattle Seahawks, the 4 points at the Pack, and I'm looking for Seattle-San Francisco rematch in the NFC Championship game.
We got a comment here from King Isaac. Titans shocked the sports world. I don't know. I don't think they shocked anybody on the show. I think we all took the Titans yesterday. I think we all had them. All 4 people on this show had the Titans. And we have, I don't know, about 1 million people that watch our YouTube channel a month at this point. I can get you the exact number of the people that watch us on YouTube every month. We're getting up there. We're getting up there, by the way. We're getting way up there in monthly views. But I'll tell you how many people were shocked that weren't shocked by the Titans yesterday. It was, drum roll. It is. I just knocked the screen off because I was beating on my computer, but there it is. The number of people, 964,000 people weren't surprised because that's how many people watch our YouTube channel each month. So the number 1 sports handicapping YouTube channel out there. We're only 4 months old, so the best is still in front of us, but almost 1 million people a month. I think we're going to crack that number very, very, very shortly because we had some holidays in there, and we also had the day where we were down. Anyways, as you guys can see, here's my note card that I write down who I picked on the show, and I just didn't do it today. I don't know why. But I know I took the Atlanta Hawks. I know Kyrie Irving's playing. Everyone always likes to throw that in. That's why the line moved 2 points, right? It's like because Kyrie's playing. Only more good news for us. I didn't like them with him. I didn't like them without him. I like them less with him. And that's just the way I feel about Kyrie Irving. I'm taking the Wizards just to bad vibe them. If I take the Wizards, they win. If I don't, they lose. I like the under in Green Bay, Seattle. I think this one's just a mess. This is one of those games where it's just a Seahawk game. It's going to be, the ball's going to take funny bounces, and Aaron Rodgers is going to complete some things that you probably are surprised that he's able to do, and on the other side of it, Seattle's going to make it look as ugly as possible and get to some kind of weird number, just like they always do. You see more 18s in Seattle games than you see in every other team combined. Also, like in college hoops, I'm with Rod there on Wright State. I think they're the right choice today. I think that UIC is just not a good team this season. I took Pittsburgh plus the 3.5. I had Miami in my original video. I like the Colorado Buffalo against Utah. The line has moved 2 points in Utah's direction with 65% of the public on Utah. So the world is on Utah. I'm going on the other side. And, another team that's been really nice to us so far this year is the Northern Kentucky Norse. Minus 6.5 points in this one against Iwapui. Iwapui 5-13 on the season. And just where we like them, 1-4 against the number at home this season. I always like these teams that have played 18 games on the season, but have a lot less games involved in their point spreads. But that's where I'm at with that. Of course, be sure to hit the thumbs up, subscribe to our channel. We bring everybody back in. I'll be back at halftime of the playoff games today. The first one is the Chiefs and the Texans. I'll be here at halftime for that one. Yesterday, if you were watching our halftime show, it was halftime of the Titans-Ravens. We had the under second half. We had Titans money line second half at plus 380, and Titans with 9.5 points is what we were getting in the second half. We hit all of those, so that was the trifecta. Anyways, this is Mitch. Thanks, guys, for joining me. Hour and 10 minutes. Woes it all in. Ken Jennings, we forgot to say it. Straight badass. One more time.
Hell yeah. Go Ken Jennings.
We got 2 Jennings here. Two Ken Jennings picks. and I feel good about that one.
Oh yeah.
Anything else, guys? Anything else important?
All right. Enjoy the games today,
Enjoy
folks.
the games. I'll see you guys in a few hours.
Okay.
See you, boys.
Yeah.